Hey everyone, it's Victor Didage. Today I want to talk to you about not giving up. Very often people struggle when they're trying to build a business and after a while if they're not having any success they tend to give up. They say, you know what, I'm never going to succeed, I'm never going to go anywhere, so I may as well just not bother and go back to my old way, maybe go back to having a job. But what many of these people don't realize is that the vast majority of successful people have had many types of struggles. They didn't just succeed, easily and just get right to the top. They went through many struggles, and many times they also thought about maybe giving up, but they persevered, which is why they succeeded. For example, Thomas Edison, they said he failed almost 10,000 times before he invented the light bulb. Now, what would have happened if Edison had given up? We would not have the light bulb. And many other people went through the same thing. You look at many famous actors, these guys who are making 10, 20 million per film. People only see the success these guys have. What they don't see is that for many years, many of these actors struggled. They didn't make any money. They were living in apartments with, four or five other people, and they were barely making enough money to buy food for themselves. But they persevered, and eventually they hit it big. The sad thing about this is that many of these people, if they had just persevered a little bit longer, would have had some of the same success these other people had. Napoleon Hill gives a great example in his book, Think and Grow Rich. An uncle of R.U. Darby's was digging for gold. He bought some land and he started, hitting some, and he got some gold. And he said, wow, this is great. So they invested a lot of money in it and they kept digging. But after a while, the gold gave out and they didn't find any more gold. And they kept digging and digging, but no gold whatsoever. So they decided to give up. And they sold the land to another man. And this other man hired an engineer to do some surveying about the land. The engineer discovered that if they just, dug another 3 feet, they would have struck a lot of gold. And sure enough, when they did the digging, this other man made himself a fortune. When the Darby family found out about it, of course, they were very disappointed. But Darby learned from his mistake. Later on, he became an extremely successful insurance salesman. He said to himself, I learned the mistake of stopping 3 feet from the goal. So whenever a man said no to me when I tried to sell him insurance, I didn't stop. I kept persevering, and most of the time I got him to buy the insurance policy. We can learn a lot from this example from Mr. Darby. If we keep persevering, we could be just as successful as Darby was. There is no limitation that you cannot overcome. You can say I'm poor, I'm not educated, I have all kinds of things going against me. But I'm going to give you an example of a man from Australia named Nick Vujicic. Nick Vujicic was born with no hands and no legs. He has no limbs. He struggled for many years with depression, which is not surprising because, most of us have 4 limbs, 2 hands and 2 legs. If we had no limbs, we would probably be very depressed as well. But he overcame this. It took him a long time, but he overcame it. And now Nick Vujicic is a popular motivational speaker who has traveled all around the world, been to many countries, preaching motivation and giving people hope. So if someone like Nick Vujicic can do it, there is no reason any of us cannot succeed. The only person that can limit us is ourselves because of our minds. Limitations begin in the mind. When you change your mind and you become more positive and you believe you can succeed, trust me, in the end you will succeed. This is Victor Diraj signing off. Have yourself a wonderful day. Bye.